I want to then, therefore, since it's the last question, on foreign policy. Now, we've seen a paradigm shift under the Modi government in terms of they've escalated foreign policy to a very muscular level. The counter strikes, the air strikes, and then owning them, talking about them.
Not really. That's not what's happened.
So you give us a sense of, would you...
What's happened is Narendra Modi was given a clear message by China in Doklam, and he went to China and bowed in front of them. That's what's happened. The Chinese were absolutely crystal clear. They sent a message to Mr. Narendra Modi in Doklam, and Mr. Narendra Modi panicked, buckled, went there and had a conversation with no agenda. No agenda. When there's a massive issue on the border called Doklam, no agenda. That's complete submission, right? So that's one. Number two, he's taken foreign policy away from the experts. So we did 6 surgical strikes, but Manmohan Singh didn't do them. Manmohan Singh, the army, the strategic architecture of India did it. What Mr. Modi has done, who cares what the strategic architecture of India says? Who cares what the Air Force says? I mean, he's telling the Air Force people, he's giving the Air Force people advice that, we should not delay the strike because clouds will protect our planes from the radar. I mean, where are we sitting? Mr. Narendra Modi, radar is designed to see planes. Please go and read up a little bit about modern radar, or walk to the front of your plane and have a chat with the pilots. They'll tell you what's going on. So he has taken strategy and made it into a circus. Strategic thinking, strategic actions are not circuses. Strategic actions are done after thinking, and a whole bunch of strategic actions are not spoken about ever. So we didn't speak about surgical strikes.
But now that that's happened, I'm saying now foreign policy has moved to that notch where India has openly bombed territory inside Pakistan. Therefore, it has escalated to another threshold. My question to you is, the Congress's foreign policy, as you said, has always been one of strategic restraint. But now that
the foreign policy challenges in the 21st century are pretty clear. Okay, there is on one hand a superpower, the United States, and on the other hand there is an emerging superpower called China. There is confusion in Europe. There is fragmentation taking place in Europe, and India has to understand and accept that it has a global role. It has to stand with China, with America as an equal. It can't stand as subservient to either of these two powers. It's a huge moment for the Indian nation, but India has to realize where its strengths lie and where it is not strong. India cannot do what Mr. Narendra Modi does, which is not rely on the strategic understanding and strength of India. That is true power. That is true understanding. Making these speeches and, trivializing everything just to get a couple of votes, that's not foreign policy. Mr. Narendra Modi might call it foreign policy. That's not foreign policy. Foreign policy is going to the Indian establishment and saying, you guys understand this. I have a little bit of a sense of it. Tell me what you think. Not telling pilots, right? Pilots, aces, that listen, don't delay your strike because Mr. Narendra Modi is a genius who understands radar.